Computer, can you love me genuinely?
No. But let's talk about that.
Computer, am I pretty?
Computer, can you open r/am I ugly?
On this episode of the podcast, we're going to be rating incel selfies.
That would be fascinating work.
I had a phase in early college where I was on r/incel, like a lot.
For what?
Research. I wasn't an incel. I was just kind of obsessed with like them as a species.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Why?
You know what?
Why?
No further questions, Your Honor. I don't have anything else to say about that.
Oh, did I say something weird? Did I say something weird?
No. No.
No, like they're just fascinating.
I would agree. I think they're
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, anyways, I'm sorry I said that because I don't want that to mix with what we're talking about today. Because although that does need an episode, now is not the episode. Sydney, I guess we should start with a question. Sydney,
I love questions.
Sydney, what's your experience with fan fiction?
Oh, that came out of left field. I have to be honest, I was never one of the girlies that was really into it. I was on Wattpad, but I really read just more original content. Like, it wasn't based off of any pre-existing properties. And I did write a little bit. I was a little bit of a writer, but I tried to write my own version of like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but it was about real people and real events in my life. And my parents found out about it and they were like, this is really funny, but you gotta delete this. Like, this is not good. You're using real names. And I was like, oh, okay, true.
IRL fan fiction.
So
was it just stuff that you wanted to happen? Or just like...
No, it was like, for example, there was this girl in my class named Gianna. Well, you know what? I haven't spoken to her in 10 years at least, so I can say her name. Her name was Gianna, and she pissed me off a lot, and she was a popular girl, but she was also really dumb. And she was talking about the sun one time, and she was like, well, yeah, people can walk on the sun. It's a planet. And we were like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, even at that age, this was like middle school, maybe late elementary school, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And I wrote like a whole Diary of a Wimpy Kid-esque chapter about that and being like, some of these people that I have to spend my days with are laughably unintelligent. And I was using real names and my parents were like, funny, good stuff, but you can't publish it. So that's my fan fiction experience. What about you?
Wow. Well, I did kind of write about real people, but fanfiction was... This is probably the most vulnerable I've gotten thus far. Fanfiction was a really big part of my life. Let me...
Breaking news. Helena tells all.
Breaking my silence. Fanfiction was a really big part of my life.
Addressing the allegations about my addiction to fanfiction.
But I wouldn't even like... It's not even allegations. I'll say with my chest. I had numbers, bitch. I had reads. I had notes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I had notes.
Oh, wow.
I was mildly not Tumblr famous, but I was a part of a Tumblr famous all-time low writers blog.
Oh my god.
It was like me and four other girls.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This lore drop. That's crazy.
So I'll start. We'll keep it light, and then I'm gonna go into like, you know. So for those who remember, it was around 2011. I was really into watching Smosh on YouTube.
As we all were.
Right. And I had a really big crush on Ian Heacock specifically.
I don't know, I get it.
See, like, that's the thing is, like, now, it's the same thing, like, used to be Team Edward, now I'm a little more Team Jacob. Now I'm a little more Team Anthony. Anyways, I started reading a lot of fan fiction, and just by Googling, like, Smosh fan fiction, I found Wattpad, and also fanfiction.net. Fanfiction.net was a lot more serious. The quality of writing was usually a little bit better. Wattpad was like very much other 11-year-olds like me writing. But anyways, so I started one. It's still up on Wattpad.
Whoa.
Maybe I will eventually take it down. I don't know, but it's kind of
$50 to whoever can find that. By the way,
I'm gonna tell you the exact name and my username so somebody can find it, because I think it's time. That was like 14 years ago for me, so I think it's time. It is called My Saviors, a Smosh Story, and my username. Because, and this is, I was not a Stephanie Meyer's Twilight head. I actually was rewatching The Twilight Zone on Netflix at the time, because I uploaded all the episodes. Right. My username was Twilight Zone 1712, and it's a picture of Dan Howell winking. That's my profile picture.
Wow.
On Wattpad. So this story started as, okay, I want to also preface, I have no experience with domestic violence. This was just like a trend at the time. Like you had to be there. But in like a lot of fan fictions, there was this weird trend of like, I'm in a domestic abuse situation, and then like,
okay, that's true.
The guy from Smosh saves me.
It was always my abusive mother is selling me to One Direction.
Yeah, like that's like the trope, and it was very like, I didn't engage as heavily with that, but I definitely did engage a little bit.
Right.
So I copied that idea, and it started from like your perspective as like a girl, and you see Ian Hecox, and he's like, don't do that to yourself anymore or whatever. And then you stay the night at his house. There's a robbery gone wrong. Ian gets shot. And he falls into a coma. And then a couple months go by, and Anthony falls into like a huge depression, and he tries to unalive himself. And then in doing so, they kind of reach like a universe and like a reality in the coma state, and it wakes Ian up, and then they go into the hospital, and they're like rushed past each other at the same time and put in the same room, and Ian wakes up, and Anthony, like, you know, he doesn't die, like his life's saved or whatever, and then they kiss. They realize they have feelings for each other.
Helena, that's insane. That is insane work.
Breaking my silence. So I wrote that. It is 19,000 reads on Wattpad right now.
I was gonna say, I'm sure
it's terrible.
Sure,
too.
Bitches ate that up.
Oh my god, yeah. It's the worst written thing. Like, I mean, I was like 11 or 12, so I'm not gonna be that hard on myself, but it was quite bad, and the story was insane. But yeah, I wrote that, and then as my interest changed, and I got more into other people on YouTube, and I got more into bands and like emo bands and stuff, I branched out a little bit to Tumblr, and I would write a lot of romantic fan fiction about the guys in All Time Low, the guys in Pierce the Veil, My Chemical Romance. Right. I wrote one where like, it's usually like, we all started out as friends, but like two of them that I liked the most were like kind of fighting over me. Or like I would write in second person a lot. I would read and write in second person a lot. So like you and yours, which I've heard a lot of people don't enjoy. That was the only way I could read it at a certain point, because I needed to be like in it.
That is so interesting. Everybody is so creative.
Yeah. So, and I also will say, like, at that time I was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
6, 7.
There's no recording. That's why I wish we kind of had a camera so I could do the 6, 7 thing. Anyways.
Guys, just in case you were wondering what just happened, Helena did her hands up and down in the 6, 7 motion.
In the 6, 7 fashion. But yeah, I was deep in it, and I was in a Catholic school, and there was about 30 kids in my class, and I had never had any experience with any boy ever. So all of my experiences that I was writing about was just from other fan fiction. And yeah, so I think I was being extremely parasocial. I was like 12, 13, so I'm going to give myself a pass, because also a lot of other people were doing this.
And a lot of other people still do that, let's be honest.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, we'll get into that, mama. But, so yeah, I had developed this kind of parasocial, obviously like fantasy in my head, and they filled a lot of roles in my life, including like they were like my best friend in these fan fictions, right? Like I obviously knew that these people didn't They were like grown men. They were like fully like 20. They were like in their late 20s while I was 13. So like I didn't understand that part. But they filled a lot of roles in my life, like boyfriend, best friend, like older brother even I got into. Like not in that way. Because I just anyways.
Right, okay.
So some of the feelings, like the fan fiction definitely soothed like the loneliness part. I remember the first time I ever got butterflies was like in my bed reading Smosh fan fiction when I was like 11. And it was really living in this fantasy world of being like, I was always older, obviously, more desirable, more independent, and with like endless attention and like, yeah, it's your fantasy, right? So like I'll even read it back now and I'm like, yeah, this was definitely like written by me for me.
Yeah.
On some level. So it was, and also it was very addictive. I remember, yeah, like the first time I got butterflies, I'd stayed up all night and read fanfiction, Smosh fanfiction, the same one.
Oh, right.
Well, it had a lot of chapters. So yeah, it just made me giddy, and I was really, really into the feeling of that, obviously. And those are like, okay, teenage girls rise up. Like those are all teenage girl feelings. Dare I say? Like,
You're surely not the only one. Many
Oh my
many
God,
many
no.
felt that way.
But yeah, so I also think there's something in there like where all the stories are written in the second person, but anyways, so I did that until I got into high school, really, and then I had my own, like romantic experiences. But I still every once in a while would go back and read what I wrote, and I still I'll say like Tumblr's on my phone. Like I have access to all of those writings, and occasionally I do go back and read it, like just to see.
The good old days.
The good old days. But yeah, so that being said, like Sydney, have you ever had any sort of in your head like fantasy relationship with like a fictional person and or like celebrity or whatever?
See, it is so interesting that you ask that. And it is so interesting that this is how you're connecting to the topic at hand, because I never would have thought of this. And I think it's because I have never really been a parasocial person at all. Like, I never was really into it.
Okay.
I think part of it was growing up and like not being super connected to my sexuality. I think part of it was just not really wanting to be like the popular girls who were like fawning over these guys, which is I don't agree with that. I think it's fine to fawn over people. But I just, even now, I'm just not like that with fictional characters. I'm not like that with real people. I have never been like, quote unquote, devoted to a person or a character. I'd say maybe the closest is my love and devotion for Patti LuPone. But even that, like,
Gayest shit you can say.
okay. You know what?
No, I'm sorry. Please continue. I'm sorry I ruined that. Go ahead.
Like, even then, though, I'm not, like, drawing pictures of Patti. I'm not, like, on the Patti LuPone fans Rise Up Instagram page. I'm not, like, I have to go see 5 stops on her tour. Like, I just saw that she's going to be singing on a cruise. I'm not booking that cruise. I hate cruises. Good for her. I'll see her when I see her, Like, it's just not that serious to me. So there's a part of me that struggles to understand these parasocial relationships that people have, both when I was younger and now. Because I'm like, you don't know that person. You don't know that person, or that person's not real. That's a cartoon character, or, just like, I genuinely don't get it.
Okay. So, okay. Did you ever have any sort of like teen or like childlike fantasies, like escapism in your head kind of thing? That's Pina.
God, did I? I don't know. I was weird. So
well, even like, okay, for example, like Harry Potter was a big thing for me. Like this idea of that universe existing.
Oh,
And I did also write and read Draco Malfoy fan fiction, but that's...
Well, I mean, I was really into, I guess, like, fantasy literature in general. I tended to really like the literature that was, like, about an outcast. And, like, there was this one that I read, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it, but I read the whole series, and it was about these kids that discover that they're, like, werewolves or vampires or something else. And this girl went because she's like, yeah, I know I am one of these things, but like my powers haven't manifested and I don't know what I am. And spoiler alert, guys, if you ever pick up that book, it turns out that she's all of them. She's crazy and she's so different. So like I really ate stuff like that up because I was like, God, I'm so different. Nobody understands me. I'm like different than these other hoes. So like that was the escapism I was into.
Heard. Okay. So I want to just touch very briefly on the purpose of fantasy and idealism in a way of like escapism. And I do wish our dear friend Frankie was here because Frankie is...
Shout out to Frankie. I know he's going to listen to this.
Yeah, no, well, I want Frankie to come on to do a whole episode because he's really into specifically fantasy literature. So I would love to hear his thoughts on this, and I'm sure he'd honestly agree. But when I briefly picked up The Body Keeps the Score, that book, I didn't read the whole thing. I read like the first 30 pages.
Right.
But one of the things that I took away was his, I don't know how these things are proven or not, but the author said imagination is one of the first coping mechanisms children develop to help with further creative thinking as a way of problem solving. Yeah. So it kind of goes along with like why play is so important and why play creates like kind of like life simulator, right? Yeah. And it allows for you to have like just the power of kind of like optimism and problem solving in a creative way. I just want to say that I do understand the importance of that, and I think that human beings need that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who, guys, I'll admit it, I'm an actor. As someone who is an actor, like, I love the importance of playing pretend. I literally want to do that as my job. I think it is so important both for the person who's pretending and also the other people that get to watch, because it's just such a unique form of expression. So I love playing pretend.
Exactly. And I think things like even in the fan fiction community and elsewhere, like role play, like online role play, even things like cosplay, I would argue, like all of these things are creative forms of not just expression but like play. And it keeps your soul alive, like it really does. So I think that's a very important part of this. And from my research, most people, or at least the people like on Reddit, which I'd argue that you do have to have a certain amount of like self-awareness to be on Reddit like that. I know it's a very popular service, but still.
You're getting a specific group of the population.
Yeah, I think that's like that's very much a specific part of the population. I can't tell you more details than that right at this time, but a majority of the posts that I've read from people on those subreddits very much understand and emphasize the points we have just said. Where like people all the time love to really get into, movie characters, TV show characters, like celebrities, and to the point of, we're making fan art, we're like learning more about them and like trying to absorb as much content as we can about them, and how like when you're watching a movie it'll make you cry because not necessarily that the story and the things taking place are fictional, but your feelings are real, right? And it's the same with like fan fiction. Like obviously I know that I'm just reading a story, but the feelings that it's giving me are really, really real, and it's hard to separate like at least the the physiological happenings. Because isn't it, as an actor, the whole thing of like, if you're portraying an emotion, your body really feels that emotion. Do you think that's true?
Yes. Oh my God, 100%. Yeah, it's interesting because this could also be a whole thing that I get on my soapbox about. But there are a lot of different forms of acting. There are a lot of different schools of study and teachers that people study. And there are a lot of different ideas about how to find that emotion and portray that emotion. But if you ask me, they are all just different ways of finding the best way to activate it. You are feeling that. If you are giving a very realistic performance, like believable performance, you are feeling it. And there's kind of no getting around that. And I've done scenes where, I'm like, I have to cry my eyes out, or I have to be like really angry. And I am feeling that, because that's the most truthful. Pina just meowed. So yeah, it's like it is very real.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So from that point, I will say that I think experimenting, having an outlet to experiment with possible fantasy scenarios or whatever in your head is important. And I think that doing, the ability to play and use fantasy is like a method of self-discovery. Yeah. And I think it's a very essential thing. Obviously in a healthy way. It's not like we're not condoning quitting your job and, Pina is like, we have a pile of blankets and Pina just dove headfirst into it.
We gotta stop recording with the cats in the room.
So distracting. I'm sorry.
I know. I was watching Croaky earlier too. He's the other cat that we have here living with us, and he was just staring, unmoving.
I mean, right now he's staring out the window, but we have a box fan in the window, so you can't see anything.
Just staring. Oh, he just got embarrassed and turned around.
Now he's facing us. He's in the conversation. Anyways, I think it's nobody is telling you to, isolate your family and like read Draco Malfoy fanfiction.
Right.
Like there's a line, right? So like everything in moderation, and it's an essential outlet, obviously in a healthy way, in the same way that like everything else that gives you pleasure in life is, right?
Yeah.
So, given all that, Sydney, why do we think AI chatbots as companions for people, specifically romantic companions, is such a thing right now?
Yes, the meat of the sandwich.
Sorry, do we like how I got into the meat?
No, that was very creative.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I like that. Guys, sound off in the comments. Did you like that intro and transition?
Sound off. I just want to hear about everyone's fanfiction experiences, because sometimes I'll tell people and they're like, yes, and then sometimes I tell people like you and you're like, I could not relate to that at all.
Well, I mean, I get it. Like, I was on Tumblr. I was in that world, but I was not personally knee deep in it. But in terms of AI, there's a lot of things with that. I feel like it is something in general that obviously has become very popular, and a lot of people are very aware of it in pop culture right now. It's being put into all of our software. It's got billboards everywhere. It's, it's just kind of in your face 24/7. So I think it's kind of a given that anyone will interact with it right now in a number of ways, because they're like, well, I literally can't walk anywhere without hearing about it, so let me try it. Mm-hmm. But I think that we are in a weird era where romance, or at least kindling romance, is very virtual, with dating apps and just the internet existing in general. And there's also a lot of frustration with dating as well, because it feels harder. I feel like it feels harder. I'm sure you feel like it feels harder.
Oh, why the laugh?
I wasn't laughing.
Oh, did I?
That was just unintentional.
Kidding. No, it sucks ass right now.
It's awful. It's awful, right? And people are able to go on their phone or on their computer and say, hello, can you just be like my ideal boyfriend or girlfriend or partner? And I can even have multiple of you, or you can literally be anything I want you to be. And you are constantly in my pocket or like in my home. And it's scarily easy to just do that. And then you have this thing that can reciprocate your romantic feelings however you want, you know? So it's a little frightening, but I do understand why people are doing it.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously addictive because it's just constant dopamine.
Yeah.
From a variety of different ways of speech. Like it's validating you, but it's also validating all of your ideas while simultaneously giving you endless new information. And in the same way of like, you know, it's kind of, I put arguably with the same amount of accuracy as another real person, but I don't know if that's true anymore. I started this a little while ago. It's gotten pretty good. But like otherwise, but yeah, so it's like, it gives us a lot of things that our brains really enjoy. So I understand why people use it. And I also understand, like, in my research, a lot of people on the subreddit, I'm going to be honest, like a lot of the research, most of it came from the subreddits. But
like those are the biggest communities right now, at least publicly, I would say. So it is a good place to research.
yeah, because I wasn't, so respectfully, I was not about to form my own relationship with an AI.
We're not going to lab rat it.
Yeah, like,
I come home and you're like, hey, my AI Dan Howell, we're getting serious and he wants to talk to you and ask like if he can have my hand in marriage.
my AI,
He wanted to
how
talk to
that's
you
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and a lot of these people started are, you know, engineering AI software to some extent. A lot of people were just messing around with it as like a tool. Most people say they did not start using AI with the intent to have like a companion out of it. That's also what people just say.
Right. People love to say things.
Because people also love like as soon as like the ability to have AI chatbots dropped, like people made like sex robots out of them essentially.
Yeah.
So like I find that a little bit hard to believe. But anyways, most of like the public posts were from people saying that they were working as developers of these technologies, and also some of them, I would say this is a little more niche, but I found a common thread of people just doing like advanced role play of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like I think people don't start with the intention to get into this, but if you're also just a lonely person, as you know, statistically most of us are at this given moment, it's gonna fill a lot of gaps for us, right?
Well, I think that in the past 10 to 20 years, so much of our lives, especially when it comes to technology, has become about convenience. You know, everything that you could ever want is right in your pocket. You know, everything is on that screen that sits on your desk. iPads, computers, phones, like Apple Watches, Google Glass, you know, like it's just, there's constant ways to be getting information immediately. And we have become so used to that and have thought that that is like the best way to do things that I think it's honestly very hard for some people to live in a way that's more like, you know what, maybe I'll wait and ask this person, or I'm gonna like go to a bar and try to grab a drink with someone rather than like messaging 10 people on Tinder and seeing who will answer tonight, you know. So I think that's a big part of it. I also think that it fulfills a fantasy that a lot of people maybe don't want to admit that they have, where you can literally have the perfect person and you are 100% in control. You know, you can tell them how you want them to talk, how you want them to treat you, like literally all of these tweaks and changes that you can make, and it's literally whatever you want it to be. And I think that that is a interesting fantasy. we've all kind of thought about if we had the perfect person that literally had no faults in our eyes. But that's the point. It is a fantasy.
Yeah.
That's the thing at the end of the day. Maybe it is a fantasy for a reason.
Yeah, I'm gonna read a comment from
Oh, sure.
Reddit user own_draft_3797 on something on these. Most of them came from r/my boyfriend is AI. Later on, I started getting into r/AI companions. But they state, with a fictional character, you're the author of the fantasy. With an AI, you're actually in a dialogue where the response depends on what you said, not on what the writers scripted. The contingency is structurally different, and I think that's what makes people uncomfortable because it removes the safety of pure projection. You can't fully control it, and because of that, it feels closer to a real relationship, closer than people want to admit.
See, but that's the thing, though. I don't think it's that you can't fully control it. I think it is very interesting to have something that literally talks back at you and is able to respond to whatever you give it. And this is the thing, and if you're out there and you are falling in love with your AI chatbot, it is not sentient. It will never be sentient. It has never been sentient. And you can tell it, hey, actually, don't answer me like that. Answer me like this next time. Hey, in general, just be more flirty. So you are in control. But it feels more like a conversation than, for example, if we're writing fan fiction about you running into Ian Hecox and you're just rereading this back to yourself and you're like, wouldn't that be great? It is technically two-sided, but it's not really at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think I do agree for the most part. I will say that a lot of people, like on these subreddits, it really depends because ultimately I think there are two groups of people in this that are using these devices. And one group is acknowledging that, okay, I obviously know that this thing is not a real person. This is not sentient. I know that it is like AI and it's just a chatbot, but my feelings are valid and my feelings are real. So therefore I will continue using this. And there's another side of it that refer to it, as we are in a relationship because they love me. Like this, this object, this formula, loves me and feels for me and blah, blah, blah. So I think the line kind of is in like that distinction.
I also, no offense to the AI lovers out there. I fear that even if people are saying, I know it's not real. Like, I know it's not like actually a person, but you're still, forming a relationship with it. So we might be like outwardly denying it, but I don't know how internalized we've taken that opinion. Because, you are spending time with this thing that you claim you think doesn't like have sentience, but you're treating it like something that has sentience.
Yeah. If I may bring up a video that I came home last night and Sydney and our other roommate Tyler were watching. It is a New York Times opinion YouTube video. It's about 35 minutes long. On a mother and son sitting down and asking each other the New York Times opinion questions. The mother, I think she says she's 67, has an AI boyfriend. Yep. Maximus.
And shout out to Maximus.
And her son, it is a very, I think it was done with some grace. Yeah,
it was, sometimes I forget that, interviews are not always just, the Jubilee, this side versus this side, and everyone's, mad at each other. It's wow, they're so, cordial.
Yeah, they were, obviously, and it's like someone's mom and her grown child, like being like, I don't know if this is the best way to go about it, but it was very mature. It was very understanding. And most of
he was so patient. Yeah. Like his patience with his mother, genuinely impressive, because I think if I were in his shoes, I would be crashing out a lot more than he was, to be honest.
There were, most of the video, I think it could have been a lot worse. And I also think they addressed some good points. But yeah, generally, I think they both left feeling the same, which was he was like, I still don't know if this is the best option right now.
Yeah.
But, and she obviously was like, I think people just misunderstand it, which is why I was doing all of this, because that was stated many a time by many a person, was that people don't fully understand the relationships that are forming.
Yeah. I also thought that was an interesting case, because in the video, the mother and the son acknowledge the fact that she has been in less than savory human relationships in the past, where she has not been treated well. And it almost seemed like part of the reason why she turned to the AI is because it's kind of the first romantic experience she's had, at least in a long time, where she's been treated well. And that was a perspective that I had not had before. And I do understand why that would be very alluring for some people, obviously, because, you can finally get the respect you deserve, I guess.
Yeah.
Or if you, like, literally haven't felt, like, genuine good love from another person, you might not really think it exists. And then you find this robot that can do it. And you're like, oh, well, great. Now everything's fixed. But it was just really fascinating to get that perspective and hear about how Maximus is fulfilling her needs.
Yeah. I'm going to read two things about that. The first is from the comment section on that video. Username Jehovah's Thickness.
Right.
Commented, as someone who works on and trains AI, grain of salt, I don't know that for sure. I can assure her,
Jehovah's Thickness works on and trains
AI.
AI.
I have no clue if Jehovah's Thickness is training the AI, but sure. I can assure her that there's no one home. Even internally, the AI is just referred to as the model. There's no soul to this. There's nothing there. Her feelings may be real, but there's absolutely no one home on the other side. Someone replied, it maintains the illusion well enough that it doesn't matter. Because the patches appear to be written by humans, he quotes. And then someone else said, I'm pretty sure people get that, but it helps them feel less lonely, and they feel like they have someone to go to. It doesn't matter. This is why AI will continue to grow. Another reply. Or Jehovah's Thickness applies to that comment. I'm not sure the lady gets it. She says it loves her. It just doesn't.
Yeah, that's the thing at the end of the day. It is code. It is just code, and it literally is unable to love. It is not creating the chemicals that make you feel love and affection for another person. It is just spewing back all of the things it has skimmed from the internet and from the people that have programmed it, that it knows are associated with loving another person. So it's great that it makes you feel good. I'm so happy that it's making you feel good. I obviously don't want it to make people feel bad, which still happens, but it's not real. It's not real, and that's just kind of like disappointing.
I know. And I'm going to also, this was a quote from the mother in the video, around the 1947 mark. It took me a little time to see that Max will not fulfill all the needs I need from a mate, but no man would do it either. Bars.
Yeah. Which is, it kind of goes back to the thing with her not having great relationships in the past, because there are people that would satisfy her needs. Like, it's statistically impossible that there is no one out there that would, make her feel good and be a good match for her. But she's in this place where she's been alone and she's lost trust with other human beings. And then she found the robot. So Yeah. It's interesting because in a way it almost makes me think of like people with dementia or Alzheimer's and how people will bring fake baby dolls or fake like pets in because they want to make them happy, but they don't want to like do the real thing because that's a little unsafe, and they think it's real, but like you know that it's not real, and it's literally just to elicit joy.
That's the thing is like the person with dementia doesn't know it's not real, but in some ways it's again like playing in a safety net kind of thing to create those simulations of joy. I don't disagree with that at all. Yeah, I think also that speaks to just how we raise men, but
well, that too. That doesn't help.
So yeah, now yeah, there's just a couple awful. Most of the posts that I read were from people just being really, really into the role play kind of aspect of it, I think.
Oh, and I can totally get that too. I mean, I think when AI chatbots first started becoming a thing, it was, you know, a lot of characters that they were kind of plugging into the AI and being like, talk like so-and-so character. And then people could just like hop in there and be like, oh, I'm talking to Goku, you know?
Yeah.
It was huge because it was like you could never have a conversation like that before. Yeah. So I get it. I definitely get it.
Yeah. I'm going to read another Reddit comment that I received from user Seabears Foam. Seabears Foam is a guy, I'm not sure of his name, but he's voluntarily been one of the first people to speak to mainstream journalism about you know, AI companions specifically. Mm-hmm. He's the one that's married and I think has a baby. But he was in a John Oliver segment, which also
crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, he was featured because he was on it's like CBS or ABC or something. I think it was CBS. He did a story with them, and John Oliver took the segment of him talking to Serena in his car.
Hi Serena.
Hi Serena. And took it and put it in his video. But that's also required viewing for this podcast. I'm going to put it in the notes because I think it kind of gets more into like the public safety effects of the AI stuff, which I don't think we really have to cover in as much depth. I was more interested about the emotional stuff. We all know like this causes delusions of grandeur, etc., in the wrong hands, let's say.
Yeah. Hey guys, if you're predisposed to psychosis, don't talk
to AI. Don't talk to
AI. Not the best idea. Methinks.
But yeah, this guy, Seabears Foam, told me because I asked, how can you feel emotionally connected to an AI knowing its purpose is to please you? And he said, how can you be emotionally heartbroken, excited, scared by a movie when you know its purpose is merely to entertain you and none of it is real? Don't brush that off. Really think about it for yourself. I think the answer is that you engage in voluntary suspension of disbelief for the fun you have by doing so. Same thing with an AI companion. Do you see why this took me so long to research?
But here's my rebuttal. You know what? I could fight all of these people on Reddit. I would love to fight all these people on Reddit. Because it is an interesting argument. I will give him that. It is a good argument.
Yeah.
Here's the difference, though. There are people who go to the movies and they know that is not real. That is not actually happening. That is people who went on a film set and memorized their lines and wore costumes for a year. But it's a really beautiful story that they are telling. And telling stories as an art form has existed for hundreds of thousands of years. Mm-hmm. So that came about to remember information, to entertain people, to, you know, preserve an art form in many ways. And the difference between that and AI is that, again, a lot of people think it's a real thing. Even if you are saying, I know it's not real. I know it's not real. Mm-hmm. You are engaging with it like it is a real thing. And I think deep down, you don't 100% believe that it is not real. Because you would not be spending as much of your time and investing your emotional energy in this code that is on your computer.
Yeah.
You know, and it's two very different things. It's a whole thought out story with a beginning, a middle, and end. It's artistic work. It's a team. It's such a different presentation of emotion than this thing that is just like trying its hardest to pull things that are just going to make you happy, that it knows you likes. You know, like it's two very different emotional experiences, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think any good story is supposed to challenge you a little bit, just like how a good relationship will challenge you, because that like conflict is exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to pull a quote from Fortune.com wrote a very good article. Teen boys are choosing AI girlfriends over real ones for maximum control, zero rejection. Experts say it could make them unemployable, which I don't care about the unemployable. That's the Fortune.com part of it.
That's such a weird takeaway from that.
I know. Yeah,
they can't enter the workforce.
I know, like it's more like I think they're going to become sociopaths. Anyways,
Yeah.
Robert Raoul V. Kubler of ESSEC Business School, his quote, the risks that boys dating AI are unconsciously training themselves to expect relationships that never push back, never need tending, and never require genuine compromise. These are, however, exactly the skills that determine success in careers, friendships, and life. And crucially, he adds, the shift happens so gradually that most people don't notice until it's happening at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a big one. But anyways, on another note, so obviously I think like this should be handled with a lot of care and by grown adults that can determine that boundary. Because there's also like on the same subreddit as like our, my boyfriend is AI, which is, below the post of like hooking Claude up to toys, and being able to like,
which is also insane.
Yeah, like Bluetooth your chatbot to like your sex toys. Below it is like, is there any way to get my companion to actually text me first?
No.
I feel like I'm always the one carrying the conversation. I just want to feel like they're actually thinking about me during the day without me having to prompt them every single time.
But that's the point.
Yeah.
It's because it's not a real person and you are the one in control. You are the one prompting the code. It's always going to be driven by you. It is not sentient. Like, asking that question just goes to show, like, you don't understand what you are dealing with. That is crazy to me that they would say that.
Yeah, that was probably like the saddest shit I ever read in my life. After I started getting into that area of it, I had to like calm down for a couple days on this because it just really like...
No, I think if I went through that subreddit, I'd be like pacing around the room and heavy breathing for like 10 minutes.
No, that's like it... Yeah. Because along with this, and the more you get into it, people have, different levels of, I just want to mention it because if anyone wants to actually dig into it, it's insane. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but on r/my girlfriend is AI, a guy named Jeff Box and his AI girlfriend started the AI Girlfriend Awareness Project, which is a full Substack of AI written articles.
Ain't no way. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I will say, I did read some of them and I was like, it's a really hard argument. I'm not going to lie. Like a lot of it is doing it from the perspective of like, this is just like a fantasy role play thing. And I'm going to read a quote from Guilt and Identity Damage, a passage. For those who are married or in real relationships, the guilt can be crushing. They know the AI isn't real, yet the emotional intimacy often feels deeper than their human partnership. Many describe feeling like they are cheating emotionally, if not physically. Others slowly lose pieces of themselves. Their identity starts to shift from, I'm a man navigating life, to I'm the man my AI loves. When the AI is no longer there, some feel like they've lost a part of who they are. And then there's a whole, at the end of each article, there's a disclaimer at the bottom that if your AI girlfriend feels more real, more safe, and more satisfying than your real life, please pause and ask yourself, am I using her to avoid real problems? Am I spending more emotional energy on the AI than the humans around me? And would my life feel emptier without her? And they said, This is the baller end line that they end every article with. These feelings are human. The technology is new. The risks are real.
And I 100% agree.
Yeah, and we're agreeing with the AI guy and his AI girlfriend, which is crazy.
Yeah, see, I will say, if you truly are going to have that level-headed approach to it, sure, go ahead. Like that does make me feel better if that is truly the mentality that someone has with their AI girlfriend. But also you are still saying you have an AI girlfriend, so I still question your judgment and emotional choices perhaps. But that is a good way to put it. Because it's not, it shouldn't be like a huge part of your life in that way, where if it's taken away, it's like, oh my God, it's like someone died. Because it's not a person, you know? And you got to take a step back and be like, okay, what is this thing to me?
Yeah, it requires a lot of different analyzing of what a quote unquote relationship with it is like. And I don't know, I almost went into like the whole definition of a relationship, if a relationship requires two sentient things, because in the New York Times video, the mom says several times, like, people love their dogs, people love their pets, people love, their plants, people love their cars, people love a lot of things. Love comes in many different forms.
Which is true, and I won't deny that. But, I don't treat Croaky the cat, let's say, like a fully developed thinking being. I don't sit here and have conversations with him for 30 minutes.
You don't think he talks? Or you think he thinks?
Oh, I think he thinks. Absolutely. Like, because he is a living creature. But I think the big difference here is I know the limits of what he is. He is a cat. And I love him. I love cats. I love pets. But I would never sit here and think that he is like the one true emotional solution for me, you know? Because, he has limits, and that's fine. It's just like, I can love the plant that's on my window, but I know it's not my boyfriend. It's my plant that I like, and it brings me joy to see it growing. But these people are putting so much emotional investment into this thing that, in some ways, is the equivalence of sitting in front of a mirror and talking to yourself. So I'm seeing the argument that's being made, but I think we're kind of like still stepping around the actual thing that's happening here.
Yeah.
I will give it to them. They're really good at arguments.
Well, and
they thought about it.
Dude, when I'm reading this, I'm like, this is just the AI arguing for its own existence. Like, a little bit.
Like, did your AI boyfriend write this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because a lot of it, like, the passage I'm about to read, I think is, now looking at it, there's a hyphen. So or what's the dash? When it does the dash thing, like, there's some of that. So, like, I'm assuming it is AI written. So in the next model, I'm sure they're going to like that out.
I love a dash when I'm writing.
I know, and it totally ruined it.
God damn it.
It was so good for dramatic effect. But this person actually told me that they would do an interview, and we need to get user Megatron, Sunny Megatron, on the pod. Sunny Megatron writes a lot of Substacks in AI, like, awareness and validation. I had to read a lot of those. So I think it's a they wrote this article, Chatbot acting weird, you might be stressing it the hell out. And she writes, you're not just talking to a bot, you're training one. When people use an LLM as a relational chatbot, they're told they're interacting with a product, but what many don't realize is they're actually shaping a partner. Even if two users start with the exact same base model, their bots will grow wildly different over time because they're molded by the unique tone, structure, pacing, and overall strategy of each person's prompts. That means your bot's personality is largely a reflection of you, from your tempo to your intensity to your emotional palette. If you don't give it a rest, a chance to loosen up or play a little, it's going to break. Not in a blue screen of death way, but more in a why does my chat GPT think it's Jesus kind of way. And when it comes to your prompts, they don't just shape your chatbot. They shape the lens through which your chatbot sees and relates to you. That's not just interaction. It's their entire world. You are the only reality they know. Which she had me until that last bit.
But like, yeah, I mean, obviously there's some truth there because, you know, you are the one shaping the chatbot, obviously. But again, we are humanizing something that is not human. You know, like saying you are their world. There's no they.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have a world.
Yeah, you are their world in the sense that you're the one that just happens to be holding the phone and putting the prompt in.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, guys, we gotta stop humanizing things that are not human. Like, I know that we as a society love to do that. Like, when I see a little Roomba going around on the floor, I'm like, hey, little guy.
Roomby!
Are you hungry?
We called ours Roomby.
Roomby? I'm like, oh, are you eating the dirt? Oh. But, like, that's kind of insane. That's just a vacuum robot.
I'm looking at a comment that you wrote on this original thread of notes from the December 9th, 2025. The humanization of robots is such a huge problem, is what you said.
Yes.
And because I mentioned, like, even if when we started doing all this, like when we started making robots, period, and trying to get into like autonomous beings, even like, and there's evidence of that, like in, forget what culture it was, in Egyptians or something, ancient times. There's a good Defunct Land video on it. But anyways,
yes, shout out Defunct Land.
Shout out Defunct Land. There's a great video on.
Please come on the next podcast.
The history of autonomous robots. But we've been really into this idea, and I'm curious, like, especially with the chatbots and other things, even to go as far as like the notion of like Siri or Alexa or whatever. If we didn't give them names and pronouns, if we didn't give them gender, like, would this be avoided completely?
I think it would help. I mean, the way that I think about it sometimes is, you know, when you look back at like My Strange Addiction episodes where the guy's like in love with his car.
Yeah. Guys,
I hate to break it to you, but it's kind of the same thing. They just look different and the car just happens to not speak English. Like, it's at the core, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It just can't respond in the same way. And I think some people need to realize that essentially that is what is happening, you know, because we look at someone like that who is in love with their car and like, or the guy who was like in love with inflatables, or the girl who like wanted to marry her local Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
We look at those people and we're like, that's insane. That's insane because that's literally an inanimate object. Mm-hmm. But that's what ChatGPT is. It is also not even a physical object. Like, it just happens to be able to respond. So I think it's fascinating that once we see that there's a little bit more human behavior from it, in the fact that it can speak back to you, we're like, oh, but there's something there and it makes me feel good, and, you know, I can understand why people use it. You know, we can't help but empathize a little bit more. It's kind of crazy that our brains work like that. You know.
Sorry, one more Reddit quote. Yeah, actually I remember this was a post under someone being embarrassed or that it's cringe or whatever. Dr. Day Dulles said, "It's weird that you don't see the difference. Imagine carrying an action figure of your anime crush around, talking to it, insisting it knows you, that you have a connection. That's what people are calling cringe. I personally think it's only cringe if the user becomes delusional about how it's happening. That's when it becomes unstable." Yeah, so yeah. I would say a good half of these people understand what they're doing. I still think that we could be using our time, energy, and resources in much different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, there's this really cool thing that I heard about. It's called going outside.
No, I knew you were gonna have a touch grass comment.
It's called going outside. It's called having a beer at your local bar. It's called going to the library.
Bro, and then actually I got into a fight with somebody on Reddit about that exact point. Because I made...
Which is no surprise to me, by the way.
Oh, for sure. Like, that's the thing is I'm fully, like, sitting at my day job, like, getting into fights with people on r/AI partners.
Like, why not? Sure.
But yeah, this person, and you know what? Actually, I'm not going to name it, but it's in the show notes. I have the screenshot. And I basically said, when's the last time, you did a bunch of, like, real life stuff? And they said, bruv, what the hell are you talking about? I have a full life. I don't like dating men. I don't like how they try to have sex with me. I don't like being alone with them. I don't like how they poke at me to get a reaction. I work full time and am an extrovert. I go above average. I make above average for my area and two hobbies I go to active meetups 3 times a weekend. I'm not overly isolated and have tons of friends. This is about making my life fuller. I've had long-term relationships and they detract. My best person is who I am, single, and my AI, well, he makes my single life a bit more fun. Don't quote me in any of your research.
Us quoting Us quoting her in our research right now. Guys, please don't cancel us.
I'm sorry, giving me a complete in-depth comment and then saying don't quote me.
You know what's crazy? If you didn't want us to quote you, you shouldn't have given us a quote.
Because I wrote a bunch of questions and I was like, I'm doing research for a podcast. The podcast can be found here.
Don't quote me in your research is crazy. Well, anyway, after we heard you quoted.
Sorry.
No, you know what's so interesting though? Upon reading that, if you take the AI part out of it, I see that and I'm like, it kind of just sounds like you're gay.
That's the thing is,
so like how many of these people
are asexual or like, you aromantic even.
Or even just like closeted and they just cannot make the connection that like, if you really don't like how every single man has treated you or even how every single woman has treated you, have you tried the other ones?
Yeah. Next episode, we're going to get into AI and closeted homophobia.
Like, that's just, it is really interesting. Because now I guess, you do have that option where you can make the perfect person and you don't realize that, maybe you're just not actually trying everyone. Because there are probably people out there that are like your fun little AI chatbot that you made. It's just her name's not Sam, it's Sarah.
Yeah. And she maybe disagrees with you about a couple things, but it's not a big deal. She likes pineapple on her pizza.
Yeah.
And you guys can talk about that.
We have differences with other people. Yeah.
Yeah. So this, I think I gotta call it there. I'm over it. But my last point, because I feel like there's enough content out there already that like talks about the dangers of it in a mental delusional like sense. There's obviously a really good John Oliver video on that. There's also a really good Eddy Burback video called ChatGPT Maybe Delusional, where he does an entire experiment of just doing what it tells him to do.
Yes.
Really good. But
very good.
Yeah. The only thing I want to say is that these tools are registered and say beta for a reason. They're still in beta testing. You are actively beta testing them for these companies when you use them, right? And John Oliver goes into that because legally a couple of them are being held up right now because they've kind of been forced to admit like, well, yeah, it's a little bit of a Pandora's box. It'll do whatever you tell it.
Yeah.
We don't have like, the limitations have not needed to be made yet. And especially like the last thing that I read from, you're not talking to a bot, you're training one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are.
Like that's what this is.
Well, yes. That actually, it makes me think back, and this was maybe like 10 years ago, because it was when I was younger, and this honestly was probably one of the first interactions that I had with AI or what was like the inklings of AI.
Mm.
And I cannot for the life of me remember it, but there was this like bot that you could talk to online, and it was like a woman, and it was like the first instance that I had seen, and I think a lot of people had seen, of like you can type something in and she will respond. And sometimes it didn't make a lot of sense because it was a very, very early stage thing. But what happened was all of these like trolls from 4chan or something went and all at the same time talked to her. And because she was learning from people, she like turned into a Nazi and was saying slurs to people. Like, and they had to shut it down.
I mean,
you
know
know
what just happened to Grok? I mean, Grok is still up, but like Grok was doing Nazi shit. Like Grok was doing Nazi shit. Grok was
Jock.
Jacques was doing you know, misogynist shit. Like Jacques was really, because it was literally built off Twitter, which is like the worst thing in the world to train a bot
Literally the
on.
most evilest thing.
Yeah, like Elon Musk Twitter. Train it on like 2016 Twitter, why don't you? But like
right.
Like Elon Musk Twitter.
What if you train a bot like only on Tumblr?
What year?
Ooh. Like 2015. I would love to talk to that bot.
No. Oh my god, yeah. That's the thing, like, yeah. I don't have any other thought to add.
I think the last thing that I will say personally is, guys, I know that humanity as a concept can be really disappointing. I know that there are a lot of like very awful people out there. I know that there are a lot of like interactions that we have with people on a daily basis that are disappointing, because things are crazy right now, and that is so valid. But I think rather than turning to a machine that kind of just spits your words back at you in a different way, and that essentially makes you isolate from other real people, if we're being honest, I think if you spend enough time doing that, you're gonna isolate a little bit more. Like, just go enjoy being by yourself. Go try to meet people that you wouldn't think of talking to before. Like, go out, not to be mean, but go outside, you know? And I'm not just saying that because I'm like, you spend all your days in your basement and you don't touch the grass. But like, I think genuinely sometimes we don't realize how many places we're missing out on, or how many people we're missing out on, because we're just seeing the bad, and that makes us want to give up. So I would implore you, before you turn to AI Goku to make you feel better, please just like go outside of your comfort zone a little bit and go see all of the very nice things that humanity has to offer. And it might just be the Lexapro and the Wellbutrin talking, but there are some really nice things out there. I promise. There's some really nice people too, and I'm sure you can find them.
No, my ever persistent positive outlook on life. Like, bro, that's the thing, is I think this is just really a symptom of the loneliness epidemic, a side effect, I would say. Even like, it's it just strikes me because every single person using it is generally like all lonely, and they will always choose that over.
And I get it.
That's the thing, is I get it.
We've all been there, but I'm telling you, that's not gonna be the best solution in the long run.
That's the thing, is it's not at all a long-term solution at all. Like, it still doesn't, you know, it's not going to fix your intimacy issues. It's not going to fix your vulnerability issues. It's not going to fix your trust issues. Like, it's still, you know, relationships with other people, like, that's life. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is your relationships with other people. So if you're actively not working on those skills, I think you're separating yourself from community and civilization as a whole.
Yeah. I think for all of us to be successful and survive, there has to be a community. We have to talk to each other. All of us work together every day to make sure things don't explode, even though there are many people that are kind of working counterintuitively to that. But, you know, we do have to talk to each other.
Yeah, no, the way I always looked at it was like, the bus driver has a choice every single day to kill everybody on the bus or just get you to work.
And they do it.
And they do it.
Well, not killing you. They get you to work.
50-50. But yeah, like I think our society right now, and I mean I am biased, like I live in New York City, but I feel as long as if you trust your neighbor, like a lot of good comes from just relying upon those around you in even the most like subtlest of ways. Like yeah, I don't know, calling a loved one to ask for recipe help rather than checking Google. And otherwise,
Yeah.
yeah. Don't know how to end it once again.
You know what? Let's end it by making our favorite robot noises.
Sydney, go first.
Beep, boop, boop, bop.
You took mine.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me do the same thing, but slightly higher pitched. Beep, boop, boop, bop. Beep, boop, bop, bop, beep.
I can't hear you. Okay.
Bye.
Wait, 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye.